Shaka iLembe is a South African historical drama that chronicles the life of Shaka Zulu, one of Africa's most iconic and influential leaders. Season 1 delves into the lives of King Jama and Princess Nandi, Shaka's parents, as well as his formative years and ascent to power. In today's episode, we explore techniques in which the screenwriters evoke emotions. A standout subplot character in Shaka iLembe is Dingiswayo, masterfully portrayed by Thembinkosi Mthembu. With his captivating resonance and performance, Dingiswayo managed to steal the show, leaving a lasting impression on audiences. Welcome to the Screenwriter's Toolbox, where we break down story, one script at a time. I'm Lingani Dube, I'm a screenwriter and director, and I'm here to shine a light on the custodians of storytelling, screenwriting in South Africa. I'm thrilled to be joined by Angus Gibson, who will help me unpack why Dingiswayo as a character was so impactful in evoking emotion in audiences.
I was hell-bent on telling the narrative of Shaka in a linear form. And the reason for that was I wanted to engage in more than one world. And I felt if it was not a linear structure, it would be very hard to follow more than one world. So I sort of fought my corner for that. And what that meant was that ostensibly your main character, being Shaka, would be kind of growing up through the season. And there wouldn't be a central recognizable character that carried you through the season. And in fact, we always understood that Dingiswayo was ultimately his mentor. And he seemed interesting. You know, the sort of, if you looked at the thumbnail sketch of his character. And quite early on, we kind of decided that in fact, he was the main character of our first season. And he would carry us through the season while Shaka grew up. And Nandi, of course, being the other main character. Mm-hmm. So that led us to Dingiswayo, and Shaka is undeniably a complicated character with real dark and real light. I mean, he has genius, but he has many things going on. And for me, him as a complex character was important. And so that kind of left the space open for Dingiswayo to be a heroic character. It is a great scene. I mean, history gave us the scene. I go back to a truth. Truth for me is very, very important. And feeling like there's some honest storytelling happening. And I suppose an emotional truth is what I'm talking about. And I think relationships, you know, a person alone is a very hard. It's hard to find an emotive relationship with that character. But when there are brothers and you see him caring for his brothers and trying to protect his brother, and he is such a fabulous sort of, I mean, in that moment, you know, he's physically strong, you kind of know he's the mentor everybody wants. And he's holding out for the brother, which in fact we had sort of set up the relationship, but it was very slim at that stage. So, you know, but Thembinkosi made it real, you know, that sort of plea for Tana. Mondli's throw of that spear, it also just made it like, and you think, oh my God, like we thought he was getting away, and that terrible spear comes.
Yes.
It's a
Brilliant a way to end the episode too.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a confluence of many factors that just came together to make it wonderful. But in terms of the script, I would say relationships, are incredibly, for me, it's the way to unpack a character.
If you think back to the writing room for season 1, were there moments that were either challenging or rewarding? I mean, both ends of the spectrum, but that lit the writers' room up in debate or in excitement?
Oh, we fought all the way. And of course, now all the fights go out of the window. But, well, in fact, one fight that I kind of won eventually in the edit was that there was a subsidiary character that ostensibly had ratted on the brothers. Not Mawewe.
Yes.
But Mawewe was a dramatically satisfying narrative, because at a later stage, Dingiswayo takes the throne from Mawewe. And Dingiswayo we want as our hero, so we want to root for him to take the throne from Mawewe. So it was important for me that we set Mawewe up as a slimy character in this beginning here. And there was evidence of Mawewe being that character, but there was also solid evidence of somebody else being a snitch. And we fought in the edit, in the script writing, and I said, it's just going to muddy the scene, it's not going to work. And we eventually did shoot it. But in the edit, of course, which is always the final rewrite, we put it aside, and we left the betrayal with Mawewe. Okay, so that, and the other big fight was around Senzakakona. Because in fact, if you read many accounts, including Kunene's epic poem, there are stories of Senzakakona trying to kill Shaka. And, from birth, I mean, literally a few months into his life, there are 3 accounts of Senza trying to kill Shaka. And Nhlanhla Mthaka, who was part of the writing room, absolutely opposed the idea. He said, in his head, this was a fiction imposed by European writers or whatever. And we all said, but it's such good drama, and he won. He won the battle. And I'm so pleased that he won, because it turned Senzakakona into this incredibly complex character that, in fact, well, me personally, I hated him, but I loved him. I loved Senzakakona up until his death, despite the fact he did all these terrible things to Shaka, because somehow he was I empathized. And there again, I put it in the hands of the actor. I think Senzo did such an incredible job of Senzakakona that I was able to care for him even in his worst moments, because I could see his vulnerability. And I think if we had made him a clearer villain, it would have been less satisfying. So that was a big fight in the writers' room. I fought very hard for the other. I lost, and I'm pleased I lost.
Yeah. Well, in my experience, I've always found the most interesting developments and story and character moments happening in the gray, right?
Yeah,
So
gray is so important.
well, that was a truly enriching conversation with Angus. It really clarified for me why Dingiswayo's character resonated with me, and it really boils down to building empathy. Dingiswayo was portrayed as a heroic brother, mentor, and lover to Baleka. So seeing him treat his relationships with others so well made you empathize with him. And when he then goes through his trials and tribulations, you're already on his side and you want him to win. You're rooting for Dingiswayo. Another key thing that I took away from that conversation was the collaborative nature of writing. So many times Angus there alluded to how much she fought for an idea or lost the battle on an idea. And that really just speaks to when you're in a writer's room, you either passionately advocate for the ideas you believe in and sometimes compassionately compromise on certain ideas out of necessity for the bigger thing that you are collaborating on as writers. So the next time you get your chance to enter a writer's room, just remember to enter it with an open mind and humble spirit. Happy writing.